All right, y'all, welcome back into the NBA show. I want to talk about this Russell Westbrook situation because as everybody knows, the NBA season starts in just about 2 weeks, 3 weeks max. Everybody's doing their media days, their media availability today and tomorrow, and then they start with training camp, and shortly after they'll be doing preseason games the following week, following 2 weeks, and they'll ramp up towards the opening night, which is usually late October. Russell Westbrook did an interview with ESPN's Adrian Wojnorwoski, and I think this is weird because we all know how Russell Westbrook treats reporters, treats the media in general. It's a humbling experience for him to even want to come out like this to a reporter right ahead of the season, because it kind of sums up everything that everybody speculated during the offseason, during late last season when things got rough for him and the Lakers. You really kind of wanted him to say all this stuff midway through last season, and you feel like if he would have done that then, and he would have had this attitude then, maybe they could have salvaged the season into something worth mentioning. He sat down with ESPN's Adrian Wojnorwoski, and I'm going to read this quote because this is the kind of attitude that you should always carry yourself with, and it shouldn't be like weeks and weeks and weeks and months of you thinking otherwise, especially when you're at a level of leadership. When you're in a position being a major role model and a big influence. Everybody knows Russell Westbrook has his Honor the Gift brand, and he's really big in California inner cities and the things he does for the community. And he just opened up his first storefront, so I feel like this is good. And I feel like Laker fans should be thinking positive and feeling positive about this. Russell Westbrook said, "I need to just do my job. Whether I'm wanted or not by the Lakers doesn't really matter. I think the most important thing is that I show up for work and I do the job like I've always done it. Be professional and go out and play my ass off and compete." Woj noted that there's no guarantee Westbrook will still be in Los Angeles at the end of the season. And he also said Westbrook isn't promised to be a starter. So that's a big deal whenever a player goes from being an MVP or averaging a triple-double or top 75 player of all time just voted in 2 years ago. For him to be talking about or be talked about coming off the bench, that's a big deal in his own circle, in his own family, in his own personal life. The thing that worries me about this whole quote is this part where he says, "Do the job the way I've always done it." Now that's kind of alarming because that kind of contradicts the whole statement in itself, if I'm thinking about it the way that I think is right, where he's still on this Russ be Russ thing. I think that he needs to start from scratch and do away with that. It's more than about just showing up for work and doing your job. I mean, you have to be compliant with your coaching staff, with the bosses in front of you, over top of you, with your peers, your teammates, and really do what's best for the team. Not say, "I'm going to just do what I've always done at a higher level," if what you've always done is what we were just saying needs to stop. I don't know. I think that it's a good start. I think that it's a compliant thing to say after everybody kind of remembers his exit speech last year. It was really, really bad. He started a lot of fires. I think that his exit speech is exactly what got Frank Vogel out of there. That was you couldn't bring Westbrook and Frank Vogel back. And they couldn't find a trade for Westbrook, seeing that he's owed $47 million. He's one of the highest paid players in the league still. And he's being talked about coming off the bench. So Westbrook went on to say, "I'm going to make mistakes. I'm occasionally not going to have good games. There will be times and stretches when I don't play well. I've owned that. And there were times last year that I could have played better. And I owned that part of it. Moving into this year, I feel even more prepared than I was in years past. That's what I'm looking forward to the most. That right there will get me past any struggles that come my way." And yes, preparation does breed that confidence that you can handle ups and downs. That's pretty much the only thing that can build that confidence is preparation and practice. Once again, the thing that bothers me is that he's saying he owned it. He said, "I've owned that." But when? This is the first time we've ever heard any humble speech from him. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I watched his exit speech. I've watched the interview since. This is the first time where he said, I made mistakes. I'm going to make mistakes. I'm not having good games. I'm not going to have good games. You know, he was always just snarky and argumentative with the reporters when they literally tried to lure him into the right type of speech, and he got, so offensive that it was hard for him to ever come back to the center because he went so far left with the way he responded to the media last year. And that's why I think this sounds so narrative-wise refreshing, because that was getting old. That was getting old and played out. There was sometimes he goes out there, has 10 turnovers, and then doesn't want to be asked about the 10 turnovers. Like, you got to own up and be accountable if you're any kind of leader. That kind of stuff right there, where you can't even say nothing to the other person when they know they're fucking up, they know they're messing up, and that just puts a rift between teammates in my mind. So we'll see moving forward. I don't know. I don't believe him. It sounds good, but also this is a guy who was almost traded in the offseason and found out that damn near nobody wants him. No team wants to give up anything for him, and they actually want to charge and tax the Lakers, charge them an extra 2 draft picks just to take on his contract. That's a big tell. So you go and you fire your agent that's trying to tell you to stay there because you have $47 million there. Stay there, have one last good season on this contract, and hope for the best in your next. He fired that guy, but then end up doing exactly what that guy said do. So I don't think that Russell Westbrook stays on the Lakers the whole season, but we'll see. From his videos that he's been posting, it all looks and sounds good. But when you're out there under that LeBron James spotlight, man, I've seen the LeBron James spotlight crush some pretty confident people. And when you're failing under that spotlight, it can be crazy, because it takes a special person to be able to be criticized day in, day out because your teammate is LeBron James. But that's going to sum it up for today. I really wanted to touch on that. Let me know down in the comments what you think. If you think Russ is being for real, more power to you. I'm more of the show me. You got to show me. I have to see it, because he seems like one of those guys that's willing to go down. Like he's willing to be blackballed out of the league for the sake of not changing the way he plays, the way he executes on the court. And he wants to be Russell Westbrook. It doesn't matter if his body can't do it no more. He's going to try to do it anyway. But let me know what you think. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Appreciate you.